Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another glorious, wonderful FRIEREN Friday. Very excited because FRIEREN Fridays are an absolute treat. They're a highlight of the week every week. Thank you so much for all the support so far in the series. We are checking out episode number 7 today. I don't know what's going to come next now that we have our frontliner Stark. I'm very excited to see where his story takes him and where we go with him and how things change maybe now in the group dynamic now that he is here. And I'm very also intrigued by the fact we still don't have a healer. I suspect we will quickly, fill that gap, fill that void in our party comp. Right now we don't even have a light party. We just have 3 members. We're still in queue waiting for the 4th, but we will hopefully get that 4th very soon. A healer, of course. Nobody wants to heal, so they are typically the last to fill that slot in any MMO that you've ever played. So yeah, we're gonna check out FRIEREN episode 7. Very excited to see what we get in this one. If you guys enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below letting me know your MMO of choice. But yeah, here we go. FRIEREN episode 7. Let's go. A grimoire by Flame. Oh, okay. Is this one real? Oh, it's an imitation. I see. Okay. For defeating monsters. Yeah, I don't understand the appeal in an imitation. That's fair and valid. Humanity's magic is like a fairy tale herself. Ah. So was magic only really something that magical creatures could do prior to Flame? Oh, that's really, really sad, actually. You need to honor her. I'm sure she did a lot for you that we still don't know about. Oh, look at the little butterfly. Or is it moth? And now we're back to the present. Something's wrong! Something's wrong! Panic! We must treat her like a dog. Feed her full of treats and make it so that it's something she wants to do again. We will make this a Pavlovian response for her. Pavlovian? Never quite knew how to pronounce that properly. Like a fairy tale. That's what they said earlier about Flame. She was like a fairy tale. Or maybe they were referring to what she did was kind of fairy tale like. 28 years after the death of Himmel, the hero on Eng Road located in the northern lands. It's so depressing for Stark that he has to actually manually labor this shit while they're just like Their art isn't bad. Yeah, but then other people can't get through. Yeah, literally. Oh, that's what Fern said. FRIEREN's using Fern as her moral compass, and Stark is it's funny that FRIEREN and Stark are kind of where what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to word it just yet. This mountain right here, really random. It's just reminding me of that one scene, I think it's in Princess Mononoke, right? With the wolves? Yeah. Not important. I really like Stark's look. Ah, you want me to just call me by my name. Sensitive, I'm just a little baby. She went from very respectful to you'll get your ass over here or I'm gonna throw a shit fit. That would be nice. Even though I suspect we just follow the path. Okay, I'm glad they explained that because I'd be wondering it too. A handful of times? Holy shit, that's crazy. Live a long time, yeah. That was my next question. Do elves reproduce? How do they come about? 400, jeez. That's mental. Okay, that image just then that it flashed is not a throwaway image. Liberation Festival? Oh, wow. The way they were just standing there, not moving whatsoever as that thing was throwing its heads around. Aww.
町全体で盛大に祝うのです。魔族が倒されたのはもう80年以上も前になります。
Crazy.
人間にとって何かを忘れ去るのに十分すぎる時間です。
Yeah, maybe there's nobody here who remembers you.
この日だけは皆ヒンメル様たちを思い出すのです。
Yeah, we're gonna remember our party today.
上出来だね。
リテイク5回か。
5
今回は
retakes.
早く終わりましたね。
ヒンメルってよく像作ってもらっているよね。
みんなに覚えていてほしいと思ってね。僕たちは君と違って長く生きるわけじゃない。
They address it.
後世にしっかり僕のイケメンぶりを残しておかない。
I don't think they're gonna doubt that.
でも一番の理由は君が未来で一人ぼっちにならないようにするためかな。
Himmel, piss off with that shit. Why do you always have to make things so sad? That we're not fairy tales. That's so sad.
確かに実在
I don't mean piss off in a bad way. I didn't expect that. That's really, really sweet. This series, man. This series is something else. You look a lot like Frieren. I wonder why.
100年後も続いているかな。
この町が続く限りは。
1000年後は？
それはわかりませんな。
Who can tell what's gonna happen in 1,000 years? You're the only one that's been around that long. Just know the difference.
そういえばこの旅の目的地ってまだ聞いてなかったな。どこなんだ？
He doesn't know.
天国。
Aww. She thought about Himmel before giving the answer. 28 years after the death of Himmel, the hero in Graf Granite's domain located in the Northern Lands. We're gonna be in the Northern Lands for a while. How was the sudden stop? Oh shit. Oh, demons are living amongst us? Are we... What is happening?
Graf
Granite.
リグナー殿。確かにわしはお前たちを殺したいほど憎んでいる。
Lord Lugner.
街中で堂々と和睦の使者を手に
Peace
かけるほど
envoys.
バカでは
So
ないわ。
the demons and humans have
大方事情も知ら
signed
ぬ
some sort of
冒険
treaty?
者といったところだろう。冷静で殺意のこもった。
Blood lust, absolutely. Calm, cold eyes. I couldn't have said it better.
この町の住民でさえ、私を見るときは怯えながらも人を見る目をしていたが、君のその目はまるで猛獣でも見ているかのような目だ。
That voice is so chilling. It's like, okay, I'm really bad at voices, but the face and the voice just made me think of Johan from Monster. Is that the same voice actor? I have no idea. But that was really cold. I love that introduction because the music really told you one thing, while I'm trying to imagine that we can probably trust them because humans are walking amongst them. So I guess we'll find out what the truth is, what's actually happening soon. I hope. But Frieren is locked up, and that is crazy coming from the previous village. Wait, how long did they say? I'm putting this back just to see how long they said.
2、3年は反省しろってさ。
2 or 3 years? Oh my god. What do you expect Stark and Fern to do for 2 or 3 years? Are the guillotine? Oh shit. Literally called Aura? Ooh. That's not good. When Himmel died? Is the death of Himmel related to this? Can't trust them, I
だっ
guess.
てことはねえだろう。言葉があるんだ。
Right, yeah, I guess. But at the same time, Frieren knows life more than, like, yeah. Ooh, to lure them in?
勇者様早くとどめを。
まだ子供だ。
Oh, it's only a child. This is really, really... Ooh, yeah, this is really, really... Like, the more morality of everything, like, it's a really tricky one. Yeah, exactly, that's what I was thinking. Like, you have to think of it from a morality sense.
Himmel, 今殺しておかないと後悔するよ。だってあいつ。
フリーレン、僕たちには言葉がある。どうせこの村には滞在するんだ。
So we'll be able to monitor. Okay, we're going to monitor this. It'll be our little experiment, but still, that's a scary experiment. I don't expect this to end well, and it's going to be really, really sad because I don't think this little girl demon is inherently evil. I think it's just part of her nature. Like, I think that's how this is going to go. Oh my god.
なぜ村長を殺した？
Oh, the look in Himmel's face just then.
あなたから毎日のように殺意を感じていました。私は平穏に過ごしたい。ですから用意しました。
Oh my
私
god.
が食べてしまったあなたの娘の代わり。
That is crazy.
その子は村長の娘だ。
村長はもういませんよ。私は何か選択を間違えてしまったようですね。
Yeah.
仕方がありません。この子は人質に。もう止めないよね。お母さん。
Yeah, even still, it's a very... This is not like a black and white thing. This is still a very complex thing.
産み落とされてから多くの時間を天涯孤独に過ごす。なのに、なんでお母さんなんて言葉を使うの？
Is it a longing?
だって
Oh,
殺せなくなるでしょ。
they don't want to
ま
die.
るで魔法のような素敵な言葉。
Wonderful magical word.
奴らにとっての言葉は人類を欺く術だ。大魔法使いフランメは言葉を話す魔物を魔族と定義づけた。その祖先は獲物をおびき寄せるために。
Like, maybe they are just like evil, you know, all this here, but I have some thoughts for how I feel about them potentially, and I'll share that at the end.
気になるのはあの魔法使いだ。
I don't think that is Johan's voice actor.
言葉の通じない猛獣か。
Does sound very
実に
familiar
的
though.
確な表現だ。この町で彼女だけが我ら魔族の本質を理解している。人を食らう捕食者が人の言葉を話す理由などただ一つ。
息子の部屋だ。出来のいい息子でな。
Was.
これは御前試合で陛下から賜った剣だ。
ご子息は今どちらに？
10年前にアウラとの戦いで死んだ。
10 years ago. Shit. Okay, we're actually gonna
帰ってきたのは
fight them?
この剣だけだ。ディグナー死者はこの場で全員殺す。和睦なんてクソくらいだ。
He's observing, he's learning.
この部屋はよく掃除が行き届いています。きっと10年前と変わらぬままなのでしょう。
You don't want to ruin it with blood, do you?
殺された父上の部屋はそのま
Oh
まに
shit.
もう
Deception.
グラナト教
Deception.
それとも
They don't live with their
また互いに
parents.
血を流し誰かを悲しませるつもりですか？私たちには言葉があります。どうか話し合いの機会を。
You're gonna regret lowering your sword.
客室に案内してやれ。
リグナー様、父上って何？
What is a father, huh? It's just a word that we use that lets them trust us. Pouring
グ
wine?
ラナト伯爵は我々に恨みがあるよう
Or
だ
is it blood?
人情に熱いお方のようだ。この町の防護結界を解除させることも可能だろう。あとはアウラ様の軍勢がこの町
What
を
is
滅ぼ
this
して
time?
ください。
Jeez. We gonna see her? Close
この
enough?
家に
I saw horns
ドラートの姿が
and
見えないよ
long
うだ。
pink hair.
邪魔者を消しに行くってさ。
Ah, he's going to kill Frieren.
ドラート殿、
Frieren.
このような
I
ところ
can't
に
say
来
it
られ
like
て
they
は
do.
困ります。
Frieren.
客室に
Jeez. That easy? That easy? That was just like nothing.
誰？面会時間ではないはずだけど。
断頭台のアウラが配下、首切り役人の一人。ドラート、
Executioner makes sense.
お前を殺しに来た。
Guillotine heads. Okay, I get it.
リグナー様の見立てによれば、この少女が我らの
Only
唯一の障害。
obstacle.
こいつを始末すれば、あとはグラナト伯爵を懐柔するだけで、この町は容易に落ちる。
Oh, how
言っておくけど
silly you
私
are.
強いよ。
You clearly don't know what you're doing.
断頭台のアウラよりも。
That is a way to end an episode. Stronger than me? Yeah, I'm stronger than your boss, actually. I'm excited to see that fight if it happens. Man, that was a great episode of Frieren. Like, I know that every episode has been great so far. There hasn't been a single episode that's kind of been like, oh, that was like every single episode I can think fondly back on, and yeah, it's crazy that week after week it feels like it's almost getting better each week. I'm not going to sit down here and say, oh, well, this episode was better than the last, or that, you know, whatever. I'm not here to compare individual episodes. You know, maybe at a certain point I'll be like, wow, this is my favorite episode, but you know, we're not there, right? We're not going to do that. We're 7 episodes in, we're having a great time, but holy shit, right? So the whole thing with demons is very, very complex. It's very nuanced, and it's got a lot of intricacies that I feel like I need to be careful with my wording of. Not in a literal sense, but I feel like we don't know everything yet. I feel like right now, maybe this is just my intuition coming in, but you know, and maybe I should be more invested in what the characters are experiencing, what I'm being told, and learning from, you know, character experiences and everything like that. But my intuition is telling me there's something more here. These demons, there's something more. It's not just evil, not evil, you know. I don't know if you would call demons a race. They are monsters. I don't know really what that differentiation is. Demons were defined by Flamme as monsters that can speak, that can use the human language. And so, in a sense, what differentiates a monster and an elf, right? We did learn that elves aren't very common. There's very few of them in the world. Frieren last spoke to an elf 400 years ago, and they don't have any urge to reproduce or anything like this, right? I know obviously the answer that comes right to mind when I ask what's the differentiation between a monster that can use human language and an elf that can use human language is that monsters use the human language as a means of deception, whereas elves use the human language as a means of communication, right? That's the obvious answer. But at the same time, because they are beings with the ability and the capability of using the human language, I feel like there is the potential for good there, right? They mimic, they copy, and they also like have their own morality. And we did see that sense of a moral compass of sorts with the child demon that we saw at the farm. She said that she wanted her mother, which we learned later on that she didn't mean that at all, and that was just a means of deception because it's a wonderful word that allows them to keep living because humans won't kill them. And that is obviously mimicking, that is deception, but also they don't want to die, which is normal, right? And while yes, in this instance, the monster had killed a child, that's not okay. And the child, I don't think, really showed any signs of feeling sorry, any remorse or anything like that. In my head, I was thinking, well, if you kill this monster, you're no different from the monsters, you know, like that kind of line of thinking, like that was in my head. And then a character stood up, the town elder, I can't remember what they were called, they were like the head of the town or something. They stepped up and they were like, yeah, we're not going to kill this demon. I am going to take it in. I'm going to allow it to work on my farm, and we will give it the chance to make up for what it did. And so we see a little flashback of time going past, a montage of sorts where everything looks great, everything looks fine, and then suddenly we get that cut to a burning building, the burning building of the house that it was being housed up in. The elder is lying dead on the ground and the demon is carrying the daughter. The demon's morality, like its sense of morals, its sense of good, its line of thinking is that I killed this elder so that I could give this other family a child, because that is what they want. You all look at me wanting me dead, but I gave you a child now, so I've done something good. And like, yeah, you can look at that in a sense of like, that's messed up, they broke up a family, they killed a parent, but the demon did think it was doing good in that instance, right? It did something it thought would be the right thing, and it did it in a really bad way. And that's where I'm saying that this sense of, I know I'm saying it like a million times, but this sense of morality is very important. The way that black and white looks to a demon versus what we see as black and white, you know, like good and bad, it's very different. And I think that that's very important to keep in mind going forward in this series. And it's not something that I had thought of until now. I'm glad that this episode actually introduced a lot of things that were giving me questions that I, for some reason, never thought of. Like, I guess in a sense, I did think of it when we got that demon. I can't remember the name already, but it translates to alone or lonely. It was the demon that replicates someone important to the person that is trying to trick. I know that that demon did decept and then kill humans, but the whole idea of it and it being called alone or lonely and its appearance when you see it, it did make me feel a little sad. It did make me feel a little sorry for it, even though it's trying to do a terrible thing. And it's really, really like messing with my head that I am getting all these feelings. I'm getting all these questions pop into my head of like, I don't know what to feel, I don't know what to believe. I'm kind of willing to go on both sides of this. I want to stay down the middle and allow for free reign and allow for demons to kind of like say their piece and like pitch themselves to me, essentially. Like, I understand Frieren's position and I understand why she doesn't trust them and all of that, and the flashback that we got was very, very impactful and very great at showcasing those feelings that she has. And it was really sad also, speaking of the flashback, seeing the face of Himmel both before and after, where Himmel didn't want to take it down because it looked like a child and he had his reservations and he looked very sad and he didn't want to do it, and then he was relieved when he didn't have to. But then later in the episode, when we see that he has to kill it or that they have to kill it, he is very angry looking, he looks very annoyed. And I think a big part of that comes from the fact that he could have saved a life had they killed this demon. But that's where the difficulty comes for me to to it's a really, 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 really tricky, nuanced thing, and it's really hard for me to have that conversation right now, knowing as little as I know. I need to learn more. I need to know more about both sides. And I really hope that we get that. I hope that it's not something that is just kind of glossed over. I don't think it is, because the series is doing a phenomenal job at showcasing all of these different ideas and really just making us think. It's a really thought-provoking series. And so far it's been thought-provoking in the sense of mortality, but now it's thought-provoking in the sense of morality. So, you know, they just took the T out and just, you know, gave us a new idea, right? But yeah, it's really, really crazy that I'm now on the side of, should we just be killing these demons? Shouldn't we be learning more about them? Shouldn't we be having these conversations with them? Like, is there any chance that we can have some sort of understanding, some sort of peace? And I think that maybe something that I'm learning right now, and something that might be important down the line, way in the future, is that scene where Frieren and the gang go to the other town before this one, the village town, whatever. Or is it the same town, village? It might be. No, it's different, right? I'm sorry, my head's all over the place because I've been thinking about these demons this whole time that I've kind of forgotten the way the events play out. But they go to the town with the statues of Himmel, the hero, and the gang of heroes that saved this village, right? Frieren asks if this is something they will do for 100 years. And the guy says, yes, this is something that we'll do for as long as this village survives. And then when she asks about 1,000 years, he replies with, I can't tell you. I don't know what's going to happen in 1,000 years. I guess for me, I'm now thinking that this whole thing with the demons might be pretty important there, because Frieren is learning a lot about herself. We're learning a lot about Frieren. And so I feel like a big part of this journey might be learning about demons, demonkind, and kind of overcoming this prejudice. Even though demons, they do horrible things, right? They have done horrible things, and there's no excusing that whatsoever. I'm not here to excuse the things that demons have done, but what if they feel threatened? What if they're doing stuff out of retaliation, right? What if this is stemming back from something that happened long before anyone else knows? Maybe in order to ensure 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, there is peace in that village, in every village. This is something that has to happen, where demonkind, humankind, elfkind, every kind has to come together and be at peace with one another. Like, wouldn't that be the ultimate goal, the ultimate achievement, to have peace for the entire world? So I'm really I'm thinking maybe now that's where things will go, and that's something that, you know, that little sprinkle that we got in episode 7 will be something that comes up way down the line. The series does a great job of having moments like those. We have to also like go back to the beginning of the episode, right? So the beginning of the episode, they're digging and they're trying to build a path on the other side for carts to get through, for travelers, merchants, everything to get through this road. And Stark questions Frieren why this is necessary, why they can't just pick up the cart and take it to the other side. And Frieren says, well, that's because anyone who comes after us will not be able to get past them. And then she adds, well, that's what Fern says anyway. And it really makes you think, is that also what Frieren thinks? Because she says it with a smile. It's funny that at this point in the episode reaction, when I was watching it, I talked about a moral compass, because that is a huge playing part across this entire episode, the idea of a moral compass. And we get introduced to that idea very, very early in this episode, with Fern acting as the moral compass here, right? She is the one who is like, well, we have to do this for the good of everyone, for the good of those to come after. The idea of those that come after being as important as those that are in the now. I've just realized that myself. That's kind of also playing into the whole thing that I was talking about with the village lasting 100 years, 1,000 years. And it also plays a huge thing into Frieren's perception of time, right? She will be there for another 1,000 years and others will not. It's about the life of those that will come later. You know, it's not just about now. It's not about being selfish. It's about preserving the good and just ensuring that there is good for everyone and that it's for all and not just one. And to get that, maybe peace talks need to be had with demons. Maybe. I don't know. But it's interesting that Stark falls on kind of a side of that moral compass that I wasn't expecting him to. I thought that he would be more for good and like wanting to do the best thing possible. But I guess this is part of him growing, part of him learning and seeing what is good, what he needs to do to be a hero and everything like that. That's something that we'll grow to see as it goes on. The really sad, touching, beautiful scene with Himmel the hero getting another statue, and Frieren asks, why all these statues? Why are you always having people make statues of you? And he really jokingly is like, well, so people can remember my beauty. You know, it's very Himmel the hero. It's exactly what I would have expected. But then he kills me every time. This guy, right? I think that Himmel the hero is an incredible character. I really do love the character of Himmel the hero. One of my favorites already in this series. I know I'm only 7 episodes deep, but I have a really special place already for Himmel. And a big part of that is that he crushes me every time he speaks, right? Almost every time. Every episode, he breaks me. And this episode, his way of breaking me was being when he says to Frieren that with these statues, there will be something. What is the actual exact quote? Let me pull up the actual exact quote here. So he says, unlike you, we don't live that long. And that the reason that he has all these statues built is so you won't be alone in the future. Oh, it's heartbreaking, right? It's so sad. I don't know. Maybe it's the idea of mortality that is making me sad, and the idea that these characters have lived these lives and that their time has to go, and the thought of those that come after you die. The series is called Beyond Journey's End. The obvious name of the series is referring to the journey that they went on, the 10-year journey. But there's also the journey of life, and this is a series about beyond the journey of life, beyond the end of it, and beyond the end of Himmel the hero's life journey. We're now seeing the impact of that life that he lived and those others lived, the time that Frieren spent with them and all of that stuff, and we're seeing the impact of that now, where she's going to these villages, seeing the statues. It's very important to her to see these because it's reminding her of those times, and she cannot see Himmel again. She cannot see Heiter again. She can see Eisen again, but Eisen cannot journey right now, and Stark's goal is to return to Eisen with these stories. So I feel like this is very important to Frieren to see these statues, and he was right when he said it's so that you don't have to be alone in the future. But another beautiful thing about that is that she isn't alone. She has Fern, she has Stark, and she has healer TBA, right? I don't know who the healer's going to be, but it has to happen. And it's important to her that these statues are preserved across these times, these years, these decades, these millennia, right? So that she can return to them. I think it's very humorous as well that Stark didn't even know their end destination. Up until this point, he was just still following them. And then, of course, we get the scenes with the demons, and Frieren goes to shoot the demon immediately with magic. And yeah, it's very interesting because his introduction was very intense, very eerie. The music was unlike anything I think I've heard in Frieren yet, and so it really stood out because I've not heard anything like that yet, and it was very creepy, and it made me feel like my blood was crawling almost. It was really, it was intense. And then, of course, Madhouse does as Madhouse does. They bring this really pretty boy in blonde, right? With blonde hair. Very Johann Liebert-esque in appearance. And this is Madhouse's wheelhouse, right? Like presenting characters like this that are very villainous and very creepy and making you feel that creepiness, but also like making you wonder and like maybe there is something, maybe there isn't, and it just plays with your head. Madhouse does a great job here. Again, they did Monster. I know this because I watched Monster. I had a great time watching Monster. I didn't do it on the channel. I did it in my own time a while ago. And Johann is an obvious highlight of that series. Like, duh. And this guy right here gives me insane Johann vibes. I'm sure I'm not the first to say that. I'm sure I won't be the last. And then we get the scene where Frieren's like, I can be in here for 2 to 3 years, that's nothing. And to Fern and Stark, that's a lot of time. Learning then that these demons are here as envoys for peace, for Aura, the demon. I can't remember the guillotine, right? Aura the guillotine? Yeah, Aura the guillotine, one of the 7 sieges of destruction alongside Qual. She regained her strength 28 years ago, or regained her power 28 years ago. And it makes you wonder, how many years has Himmel the hero been dead? 28 years. So is it that the news that Himmel had passed gave her power, or did he do something that weakened her and so his death gave her power back? I don't know, but there's obviously that number 28 is important, right? There's no reason it had to be the exact same number of years that Himmel has been dead unless that's important. And so now we just need to learn why. We need to learn why she's able to get her power back, her strength back, and come back from whatever it was before to try to reclaim the Northern Lands. Is it that she was scared of Himmel even still as he was in his old years, and now that he's dead she has no more fear? Like, there's just so many questions that we don't have the answers to right now, but I'm sure we will get them, and I'm excited to see that. And then we get some examples of demons using the language as a means of deception, and we saw that with the young demon child. I talked about that at length already, so I'm not going to talk about it again. The child's room, you know, the human child's room, who died fighting the demons, and then the demon fakes his bullshit and says, yeah, well, my father's room looks exactly like he left it 10 years ago. He just plays this guy for an absolute fool, because it's this idea of we've experienced the same thing, right? You and I were no different from one another. So how can I take your life when you've experienced the exact same thing that I have in very similar means? But we learn that the demon was faking it. He's like, I don't even know what a father is, but you know, that doesn't matter. That's not important because he fell for it. The other demon goes off to try to kill Frieren because he remembers that Lugner said that Frieren is the only thing that stands in the way of being able to capture this village with no problems. And so he's like, well, I can do that. I'm a soldier of Aura the Guillotine. I'm one of her executioners, so I can do anything. He shows up and is like, who even are you? Like, why are you such an issue? Are you even strong? And she's like, oh, I'm stronger than you. I'm stronger than you. And I can beat your master in a fight, no problem. And that's where we leave off in this episode. What a great way to do it. What a great episode. This was such a really thought-provoking one, and an incredible, well-done episode with so many really delicate matters being tackled here. And I cannot praise the series enough. Madhouse, manga creator. I really need to learn the manga creator's name, because I just keep referring to them as the manga creator and not actually referring to them by name. But what masters they are at their craft. And yeah, this is I don't think I really have much more to say. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below, like I said at the start, letting me know your favorite MMO. And please don't spoil too much, because I am really loving Frieren, and I love going into these episodes not knowing much about it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope that you're able to have a great day today and that you're able to take it easy. I will see you in the next one. Take care.